Happy Friday, everyone. It is Wilson, and I'm back with another video. In this video, I want to go over some of the stocks that I'm watching for the rest of the July, and I'm going to be going over some of the plays and trades that I made during this early July. So, it's been a while since I've actually posted a video about stock trading or doing any type of like review or overview of what's going on in the market. So I've seen your messages on Twitter. I've seen everything, and I decided to put together a video for you guys. So the first one that I've been eyeballing, especially today with how it's been trading today, is Nvidia. So NVDA. Now this stock is a little bit of a tricky stock. I was able to cash out on some of the puts. So if we look back, I felt that what happened was that for the last 5 days, it was overextended, right? Everybody was anticipating this level right here, 820 level, for it to break 820. As we can clearly see, this was pretty much a resistance line. So if we look back a little further back, let's say a month, we see clearly that it tops out at around 820, between 820 to like 830, right? So when it gets all the way up here, at around the 820 mark, I knew that this was overextended, especially with the current market condition. The market hasn't been doing too well. There's not enough gas for the stock to just keep pumping and breaking that resistance. So I was paying really close attention to this point right here, and I got in with the puts, and the rewards came. So I was able to cash in pretty well. Now, now today it dipped so much lower. So I was actually able to take profits halfway through this long wash, but I could have held longer. I could have held my puts longer and would have cashed in double that, but I didn't expect it to tank this much. I thought it was going to end at around right here, 760 range, because that was the previous support line. So I thought it was going to, consolidate around here, which it did do a little bit of a pushback up, and I thought it was going to go all the way back up and reclaim to the 790 area. Now that it has tanked this much, despite the market conditions, next week on Monday, what I'm looking for is a bounce back upwards. So I'm going to be looking for it to bounce from this low of 725-ish all the way back up to the previous support line, using this as a resistance. So that's one stock that I'm eyeballing, and I believe my edge right there has a lot more potential than on the short side at this point. And it could jump. It can easily go up to 800. We know how volatile the stock is. But my the main levels I'm looking at is roughly at around the 760 range for to start taking profits, and then I'll scale out slowly, and riding some shares upwards depending on the situation and how far up it continues to go. So that's it for Nvidia. Let's talk about another one. Um, Another popular one is Wish. So let's see. Let's look back at the 1 month chart, right? So we're looking at something for more short-term trade. This was somewhat of a pump and somewhat of like a chat room pump and technical breakout in these past couple of days. Um, past couple weeks. But the thing about this one is that I actually like the fundamentals of the company. I've looked into it. I think the revenues are going. They were able to beat certain earnings. I think this is actually not a bad company to go into for the long run. And I've actually wrote about this on Substack. Will this be the next unicorn? If you're looking to buy a bunch of shares right now and hope that it becomes like the next Amazon, I don't think so. I don't think it will ever break like 30 within like the next 6 months or something like that. But this makes, with the volume and with all the chat pump, I like stocks with a lot of volume. I like volatility. And I think this is going to be able to bring me a lot of price action for the amount of money that I'm able to risk. So if we look at let's just look at the last 5 days, it has been on downward trend, right? So the key levels that I'm watching right here is that if it can push back up to above 1040, I would say. So it has to break 1040 for it to continue to go back up and climb back. And then the next levels I'll be looking at is obviously like the previous support levels right here at around 1065. And then if it breaks that, then we'll be looking for it to break the 11 mark, which it tried and it did break out and then it came right back down. So it keeps getting rejected at around between $11 and 11.15 ish. So what I'm looking closely for is if it can break this first level first, then I can take a position. And then if it breaks this next level, I can double down and hoping for it to break out above 11. And if it breaks out above that, then you're cashing in a lot. So that's my thought on Wish. If it continues to tank, I think that the stock, I believe that it won't tank too much lower. I think it has already bottomed out, and with how great the company is, I don't think it will tank any lower than this. But I don't see. Well, the main question will be like, is there enough volume for it to actually push back up to these levels, or will it just be consolidating and going up and down, up and down, up and down between this gap right here? So that's my thoughts for Wish. Now let's move on to the next one. Another very popular one with Richard Branson going to the moon and everything. Let's look at Spice, SPCE. I was trading this one, and this and I was trading it up from the 40 range all the way up to like the 55 range, and then I was buying puts and I was doing this, and I actually took a little loss on one of these days where I thought it would continue to try when it was on the 50 range. I thought it was going to try to break out above this resistance level, but it got rejected. And usually a stock, like it's really clear if you look at this chart, right? You see the resistance level that's getting rejected at, and that's why I said it's so important to understand the support and resistance level. So we can see right here that's the support level, and then that's the resistance level. And each time it goes up there, we see it prior, bam, rejected, right? Goes up, bam, rejected, tries again, bam, rejected. So I took a little loss on this one for it to try to break out. They didn't break out. So what happened was I ended up switching to a short side, and I was able to cash back on this. Now I think the thing about this one is that all this momentum is all based off of hype, right? It has nothing to do with the company at all or technical. It's basically like, Richard Branson is going to the moon. This is one of those meme stocks, and people are just buying, 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 and then there's a ton of bag holders, right? So the thing with this one is that you just have to be very careful. It doesn't trade normally, and each time it does these false breakouts, it gets rejected. So the only way you can kind of look at the stock is by the support and resistance lines. At this point, I think it kind of corrected right now. And as you can tell, if we're looking back at the 3 months, this was the support previously. So, with investor interest, with the market recovering, I do see it slowly pushing back up and consolidating again at around the 38 between 38 to $40 range. Unless Richard Branson comes up with some crazy catalyst of him going to the moon again, or bringing like I don't know, like Michael Jordan with him or something like that, then we could see a massive pop. But if this stock is trading normally, I would see it consolidate again and again and slowly go upwards. But it's not worthy enough for me to go in for a short term trade that's like 1 to 3 weeks. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Apple, another very, very popular stock. This thing's been going upwards. I actually got in, I called this out on Twitter. I was like, if this thing ever hits 149 to 150, I'm buying puts. It's overextended. And that's exactly what I did. Now, do I like this company? I love this company. I use Apple products. I think it will continue to slowly climb. As you can tell, if we look at the 6 month chart, this is an upward trend. It's a really nice recovery from the lows, and then bam, slowly pushing higher, 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 higher. And I see this trend continue going until it literally broke out highs. So I do see this trend going, but as like a day trade or like a quick swing trade, I had to get puts. I knew that this overextension to 150, boom, it's gonna get rejected. And that's where I was able to cash in on the put. So as a short-term trader, I see this being overextended. But as a long-term investor, I definitely like this company going for a long term, like 1 year down the line or something like that. So that's it for Apple. Let's see what were the other tickers. So there's Neo. This one's been hyped up a lot over like at Robinhood and stuff like that. Um, as we can tell, this is the key level to watch for 45, between 45 and 46. At least that's what I'm watching. If it breaks above this, I do see it going back higher, 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 and testing this 50 range all the way up to 55 again. At this point, I don't think it's a buy for me. I like the patterns. I do like the patterns. I think it is very clear to identify the support levels. If we look at, like, let's say 5 days, the support level right here, we're reaching support, and the resistance level right here. But what I'm really aiming for is hoping that it can come up from the support level, test the 45 range, and if it breaks, boom, we're going towards 50. So that's the level that I'll be looking at to get in on if I'm on the long side. And if it does a quick jump out of nowhere off like no news, then that's an overextension for me, and then I will be on the short side. But if it trades regularly, like I said, I'm looking for it to reclaim back to the 45 range for a breakout. Those are the levels that I'm watching for NEO. Tesla, one of my most favorite stocks to day trade. I love the volatility on this. So everyone's anticipating for this for it to kind of reclaim and break out. Right now, I know these patterns with Tesla really well. It goes through a cycle of a couple day drops, massive drops. We're talking about like $20, $30 per share range drops, and then bam, it goes back up again, and then it slowly climbs for a couple days. This is the way Tesla moves, and this is the way I like to trade it. So the way I'm looking at right now is that, hey, I'm looking at the support line. I think it has bottomed out. I'm looking at getting calls right here on Monday and hoping for a push upwards. So that's my quick take on Tesla. It's all about technical for Tesla. And usually Catalyst doesn't play that much of an important role. It's the same cycle again and again and again. So that's what I'm watching for that. There was a lot of other tickers that were pretty hot this week. But I think these are the main ones that I'm watching moving forward, along with some other names like Roku, Peloton, and stuff like that. But I don't really need to do a deep dive into those. Those charts are pretty straightforward. I like to buy as support, and when the stock overextends. Another one that I do want to go over because I think it will be hot next week as well, Monero. So basically, they had some news that they were listed on the S&P or something like that, and boom, we see this spike up, spike up. Um, the stock itself is great. Like, if I was an investor, I like to see these slow little upward trends, right? Like Apple does, right? But when you see a big gap push up like this, right? This is overextended, in my opinion. So we're going to let these investors, feel, get a feel for it, get their little happy moments. And then what I'm waiting for, my strategy for these type of overextensions is the first red day. So once the first red day kicks in, it could be Monday, it could be Tuesday, I'm going to be shorting this. So that's my play for this. And that pretty much wraps up this video. If there's any other stocks you want me to take a look at, or have a feel for, or want to go over, feel free to just message me on Twitter, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. You can follow me on Twitter at Wilson the Trader. If you like this video, subscribe and thumbs up for more in the near future. All right, happy weekend, guys. Take care.